Hello, Klaus here, and welcome back to yet another video here at the channel. So with the release of DaVinci Resolve 19, we have seen some great improvements. One of my favorite tools from back in the day were the Face Refinement Tool. It had some very great things and also some limitations. However, there has been an update, and in this video we are going to revisit the Face Refinement tool in DaVinci Resolve 19, and let's see if it's been improved and if it's any better than previously. It is, but we are going to test it out anyways in this video. So without further ado, let's just jump right into DaVinci Resolve 19. Okay, so here we are in DaVinci Resolve in the ColorPage, and we're going to have a look at the Face Refinement tool in DaVinci Resolve 19. First off, I have this random clip here. I have two nodes which are turned off because I don't need what they are doing. And then I just have a LUT applied, and then I have a node here. And we are just going to apply the Face Refinement tool to that. So I'm going up here and I'm just going to search for Face Refinement. It's right here, and I'm going to put that on that node. So here we are with the Face Refinement tool. And first off, the tracking has become way better. First off, we can go up here and we can toggle the overlay on and off. We're going to keep that on, and then we're just going to track the clip forward and backward. And we can see now that it's doing its thing. And for instance, when you are turning your head, the tracking has become way better. Actually, it was not possible to do that in the older version, really. Also, you can go in, and if we zoom in, you can go in and change the different points, which is a super nice update. But for this tutorial, we're just going to keep it like that. We're going to take off the overlay, and then we can go into the basic settings. We have a skin isolation tool. If we click here, we can see what skin is being affected, and we can go in and change things around here. We can go into change it to none skin, or we can use the alpha output, which we can't really hear. So we're just going to use the skin mod, and then we can change things around here if we want to change the shadow range and stuff like that. For this example, I'm not going to mess around with this. I'm just going to toggle off the show mask, and let's go into this one here, into the skin textures. There is a beauty plugin. So if we want to de-beauty me, we can just go into the amount and pull it all the way back here. So you can see I became a little more wrinkly. And if we want to smoothen everything out, we can go the other way here. And then we can change the scale of that, as you see right here. But for this, I'm just going to reset that because I don't need to use a beauty plugin. I think it's okay the way it is. So we can go into the skin grading, and in the grading, we can change the contrast. So if we want to change the contrast on me just a little bit, we can do that. We have some midtones we can play around with, so we can change the intensity of the midtones, something like that. We have a color boost, so if we wanted to, we could boost up the colors or take out colors. But for this, I don't want to do anything. We have a tint where we can change the hue. So maybe we are just going to give that a little, not that much. Something like that. Then we have a desaturate shadow where we can desaturate that. I'm not going to do anything for this. Then we have a shine removal. If we have like a spot, for instance, in the forehead, we can kind of remove that. So we can just give it a little bit, something like that. Then we have a side lighting, which is a new thing. So for instance, we can put in light from the left side. We can see we are doing that. So we can put in just a little. We can go in and change the gamma left. So we can see we can decrease, or so we're just going to put in just a little. We'll put in a little more light. And then we can also lift the gain. So obviously this is a little bit over exaggerated, again, for the sake of the tutorial. And we can do the same for the left side, which I'm not going to do. Then we can go in and change the area again, I'm not going to do that. We also have a eye shadow, so we can go in and change that around. However, for me, that is not a good thing. This is more for the females, I think, would be better there. So I'm going to jump over some of these. We have the eyes. So again, we can sharpen the eyes a little bit. And I know it's pretty hard to see on this tutorial, but we can sharpen it. We can brighten the eyes. So if we go all the way up, you can actually see it, but we're not going to go that crazy. Then we have a highlight. And as you see, we can kind of just fill out the shadows of the eyes. So we can just put it just a little bit like that. And then we have an eye bag removal, which in my case sometimes could be great. So we are going to do just a little bit that. Then we can do some stuff with the lips, changing the hue, the saturation, and the gamma. Again, for me, I'm not going to do that, but you can make some pretty creative looks doing that. Then we have some mouth corners. We can go in and do something about that, but actually I'm not going to do that either. This is also new. Teeth. We can go in and change the color of the teeth. Since I'm not smiling on this clip, it's not going to be a very usable thing for me. Then we have a blush, and we can see here, if we go into the hue, we can change the colors a little bit. And we are going to do just a little bit here. So let's do that, something like that. And then, of course, we could go into the size and make it larger and smaller. I'm just going to keep it as it is, just sizing it up just a little bit like that. Then we can do some forehead stuff again. We go in here, you can see we can do that. But again, for my particular look here, I'm not going to do that. Then we have cheeks, where we yet again could put in some color on the cheeks. And again, for this, it is just ridiculous to do that. And again, we also have chin, where we could do kind of the same thing here. We can go in and put in some saturation on the chin and stuff like that. But again, for this clip, it wouldn't really fit, because even though it is cool that you can do all of these changes, you have to do the changes at least with a little bit of consideration, and maybe also not go all the way in, because it can very easily look very stupid. But anyway, here we did a super quick little change. And as you can see, it's now tracked. And when I turn my head to the one side or the other side, the corrections will actually be applied, which is kind of cool. Anyway, I do hope you found this little video useful. If you did, please hit that subscribe button, give the video a like, share it with your friends if you think it would help them out. And if you want to be notified every time there's a new video on this channel, please hit that bell icon down in the corner. Until next time, keep filming, keep learning, and keep sharing.